Call to order the Alexander County Board of Commissioners meeting for October the 3rd, 2022. I'll do the invocation, and if you would please stand, and I'll recognize our young Marine, Vince Sotheran, for our Pledge of Allegiance at the end of the prayer. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you at the end of this day, and Lord, just thank you for all the blessings that you've given to us. Thank you for each one that's come out tonight. Pray you give us a safe return back to our homes. Be with us as we go through the business of the county. Give us wisdom to make wise decisions to move Alexander County forward. Pray for all those who protect us each day, emergency service, police, all the fire personnel, each one who puts their life on the line for us, for our military also. Pray you'd help us today. Thank you for all the good things you do for Alexander County. We're blessed to live here, and we thank you for that. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Do the pledge.
Please place your right hand over your shoulder. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Maybe Steve. Any commissioner have a report? Anything to add?
Well, now the Historic Committee made a trip over to Wilkesboro last Thursday and went over and toured some of the places that they had restored. Had a great presentation from the Wilkesboro planner on the things that they'd done and how long it took them to do it, and it was a very good visit, and all the people on the Historic Committee made the trip, and very educational day. We spent the entire day over there, so it's very good.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoder. Myself and Vice Chairman Pentle were able to attend a grand opening in Alexander County, and retail is something that we need and like to see it coming in. Sweet Chic Boutique, I think, or something. Anyway, it's a dress shop, clothes. Any men who want to score some points with your wife, you can go in there and buy her something that's nice. And I think they have some food and snack things or something, and some stuff there too. So candles, whatever. It's before you get to Tellsville Motel, as you headed out of town on Business 90. But they are open for business, and make sure we support them. Anything?
I do want to take this time to recognize a pastor that we lost in the county this past week. It would have been Reverend Stephen Parks. He was a well-known figure in the community. He was loved by many, but he loved many as well back. He was known to the kids as the bubblegum preacher, because he always had bubble gum to give out to any kid that he come in contact with. And the kids just kind of drew to him and clung to him, and he was just a great guy. So I did want to send the condolences out to the family and to the ones that are grieving his loss, or their loss, with their pastor, their dad, their papa, and the other kids out in the county that knew him. They'll no longer see him, so I do want to just recognize that he did make a mark on several lives in this county, and I just wanted to recognize him for a moment.
Thank you, Mr. Phil. Next item would be adoption of agenda, and I'd like to add, I think each one has a copy of it, add the resolution to number 8. The resolution is for the requesting Alexander County Board of Commissioners to appoint a review officer for Alexander County. I'd entertain the motion with the addition.
Move to approve with the second amendment.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Item number 1 is our public comment, and I think we have someone who was going to speak. I'll just read through the statute of that. Alexander County Board of Commissioners, public comment, October 3rd, 2022. Public comment period is intended to allow Board of Commissioners an opportunity to listen to citizens' comments and concerns. It is not a time for the board to discuss issues or answer questions. Time period of 15 minutes has been established for public comment at the beginning of the first regular meeting in each month. Length of comment for each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Please select one spokesperson to represent if there's a group. Comments are to be directed to the board as a whole, not to just individual members. Topics requiring further investigation will be referred to the appropriate county officials. Any citizens wishing to address the board during public comment shall call the clerk prior to the meeting, have their names placed on the list. I have down Randy Bentley speaking about open band, Moore Mountain. Are you here, sir? If you would step up to the podium, sir, and that way everyone can hear.
I'd like to address the concerns for the whole community up in there, because we've been promised to get broadband up there for nearly 2 years. I signed up in December of 2020 for it. The grant came through, and Moore Mountain was put on phase 1. I got a call from Nick Stewart in the spring of 21. He said we'd have it going within a month. That was probably March. Okay, I was so happy because my house got broke into, and I was gonna be able to put up some Wi-Fi cameras. Well, next month, which was May, I know it was May because I was mowing hay. I had to stop and meet the installer. I met the installer at the house. He called me, met him at the house. And I thought I was gonna get internet that day, but the tower wasn't ready. Be soon, is what they told me. So they said I had a good site to the tower. Would be better if I cut some trees. So I cut 8 trees. So that made it, that was in May of last year. So I had this lady that came up there with them, and I checked with her. She gave me her number, and I checked with her about every month or two, on. And I've got records where I texted her back and forth. Be soon. Tower, trouble with the tower, trouble with the tower. And that Dave, which is the guy that's over it now, he was at my father's house in December and said they'd be climbing the tower next week. He was working on my dad's internet. I've even called the head of broadband at North Carolina down to Raleigh. So he was just flabbergasted that they didn't have it fixed yet. In closing, I was promised what I didn't get. I cut trees. They're under contract. I've had contracts with my farm, business, and I've always tried to honor my contracts. No one else can bid on this area because Open Broadband has said they're gonna put internet in this area, so the other people coming in can't bid on that area because it's blocked off. And I just feel like they've been doing the low-hanging fruit. They need to, if they gotta spend money, they got money. They was given money. So that's where I'm at, and I appreciate you listening to me.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Move on to item number 2, Red Ribbon Week proclamation, and recognize our young Marine, Sergeant Vince Southern. If you would come up, sir. And you'll read the resolution for us if you don't mind.
I have a speech. I don't have the proclamation itself.
No.
Okay, Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Young Marine Sergeant Vince Southern. I'm from Mecklenburg County Young Marines, located in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm here to talk to you today about Red Ribbon Week. Now, y'all may ask, what exactly is Red Ribbon Week? Well, Red Ribbon Week represents a national anti-drug effort and awareness campaign observed annually during the last week of October. It was made a national program by President Ronald Reagan in 1888 to honor Special Agent Enrique, also known as Kiki Camarena, for his fight against drugs. Special Agent Enrique was a former U.S. Marine who became an agent for the Drug Enforcement Agency, also known as the DEA. He infiltrated drug trafficking bands and successfully helped break up many of them. Unfortunately, one of the drug trafficking groups he was trying to break up was able to identify him. On February 7th, 1985, he was kidnapped in broad daylight and was tortured to death. Enrique never asked to be a hero. He did, however, had a dream. He believed that he could make a difference in our country and make our country a better place to live and work. Enrique Camarena was 37 years old when he died, and when he died, he left behind his wife, his 3 sons, and a dream. When he was murdered by those drug dealers in Mexico, they ended his life, but not his dream. Red Ribbon Week is about upholding his dream by spreading awareness about drugs and making sure you're living a drug-free life. As long as we continue to remember him, wear the red ribbon, and fight illegal drug use, his dream is still alive. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to read the proclamation?
I don't have the proclamation.
Okay, you don't have it.
Would you like to read it?
Jamie has a copy, the clerk, Madam Clerk will give him.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, the Red Ribbon Week proclamation. Whereas alcohol and drug abuse in this nation have reached epidemic stages, and whereas it is imperative that visible, unified prevention education efforts by community members be launched to eliminate eliminate the demand for drugs. And whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign offers citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to a drug-free lifestyle, so meaning no use of illegal drugs, and whereas the National Red Ribbon Week campaign will be celebrated in every community in America during Red Ribbon Week, which is October 23rd to the 31st. And whereas government, building, parents, law enforcement, media, medical institutions, religious institutions, schools, youth will demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by wearing and displaying red ribbons during this week-long campaign. And whereas Alexander County, North Carolina, further commits to its resources to ensure the success of Red Ribbon Week campaign. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Alexander County Board of Commissions hereby proclaim October 23rd, 31st, 2022 as Red Ribbon Week and encourages its citizens to participate in drug prevention education activities, not only during Red Ribbon Week, but all year long, making a visible statement that we are strongly committed to a drug-free Alexander County. This third day of October 2022.
Thank you for reading that.
Thank you.
Appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and it's a good thing to be done. I'd entertain the motion to approve the resolution.
Move to make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
I have a question for you.
Sir.
How old are you?
13 years old, sir.
13. What grade level?
8th grade, sir.
And last year you were here, correct?
Yes, sir, I was.
And what rank were you then?
Corporal, sir.
Corporal? And who's with you today?
My mom.
Your mom? You should thank your mom for bringing you out and probably taking you to all of the different meets, drills, things they have. I got a feeling there's a lot of running around to do,
Sir.
so you should thank your mom. Thanks
Sure
for having
will.
him here.
Thank you for bringing him too.
Thank you.
Thank you, young man. We're looking forward to seeing you again next year, probably,
Sure.
or not sooner. All
Of
right,
course.
thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Okay. Move on to item number 3, VIA Health PowerPoint presentation update, and I recognize Zach Shepard, VIA Community Health Relations Regional Director. Thank you, sir.
So much. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you all this evening. Just wanted to give a quick update about some things going on with our organization, some things that we're seeing, and we'll just run through this really quickly, and I'll let you you all have any questions for me. Feel free to ask away. Okay, so some current challenges that we're seeing going on. which is not privy to just our organization. I think it is a widespread thing, is increased demand and limited resources. So, and I think it's fair to say that this is not only the case in behavioral health, but is the case in a lot of different arenas these days. So what we've noticed is the increased need for child and adult mental health and substance use services, and then a lot of loss of professionals leaving the behavioral health arena. There's also been expansion of the new health plans in North Carolina, and that has created more competition for staffing. This has also created wait lists for services across the board in all healthcare. So these are some of the issues that we've noticed, that we've recognized, and we're trying to take steps to mitigate some of these challenges. So we've been working closely with our providers to meet the needs and try to balance out these challenges. Okay, so one of the number one things that we recognized and we've decided to do is to really put the emphasis on our walk-in centers, which is really the kind of the heart of our service continuum. It is your your community center where you can walk in to be seen, or where you can go in for outpatient services. So what we've done is we have worked on increasing rates for these outpatient services at our walk-in centers so that we can stabilize staffing, that's retention of current staff, and recruitment of new staff. So getting more people interested in these positions. Also improving access to same-day care in rural communities, incentivize face-to-face services in rural communities, and expand access to substance use services. One of the things that we've recognized is we're being hurt in all geographic areas, but our rural areas are really hurting. And so we've really emphasized supporting our rural communities. And I know a lot of folks had experiences through the pandemic with telehealth or virtual visits, and we know that we've seen in a lot of our rural communities, folks aren't very fond of telehealth. They would rather see someone face-to-face. So we've started incentivizing that face-to-face visit more for folks in our rural communities. So to address these workforce challenges, we've increased our rates across the entire service arena. That's to promote competitive recruitment and retention. We've targeted rate increases for direct support professionals, working with our providers to develop strategies for recruitment and retention, allowing providers to incentivize staffing in more rural counties, again, emphasis on the rural areas, and then working with our Provider Advisory Council to develop strategies across services and disabilities. Okay, so those are just a few of the challenges that we've seen and that we're working on currently. It is a work in progress, and we'll just continue to talk with our providers, to work collaboratively with them to improve those issues. Wanted to just highlight the statewide Child and Youth Improvement Initiative. That is an initiative that all 6 LME MCOs are working on right now and are committed to. And it is, in a nutshell, it's to simplify the process for high-risk children in foster care and DSS care to get treatment across the state in the same manner, in the same method, and breaking down some of these roadblocks when kids go from different geographic areas for treatment. So, for instance, if a child in DSS custody that resides in Alexander County needs to go to a treatment facility in New Hanover County, that is currently that is moving to a different LME MCO and requires a lot of different steps. And so basically this initiative is work to try to break down a lot of those barriers and make it more streamlined for kids in need of services. So this means a standardized pass-through authorization process for children entering residential treatment. It's also, we're also working with the other LME MCOs and benchmarks to develop a standardized referral process. And that means that all providers will use the same paperwork. There won't be any passing around different paperwork or getting confused. It will make it a lot more streamlined. Also, we're looking to expand a statewide open network and reduce or eliminate the need for out-of-network agreements prior to care. Okay, and this is just a quick map of DSS offices that are supported by a co-locating care manager. As you can see, we've got Alexander is in dark blue, meaning there is not currently a care manager embedded at DSS, but we are in the works to do that as soon as we can get hired up in that arena. That position has been posted. We've been interviewing for that position. And as soon as that position is, we hire for that position, we'll have an embedded care manager at Alexander DSS. We've also developed an escalation protocol for DSS, for DSS directors to reach out to us 24/7, 365 days a year, if there are emergent crisis issues that require our assistance. So if a DSS director needs somebody from VIA to to jump in and help out on a Saturday at 8 p.m., they can call our access center and make that request and get somebody on the line immediately. We're also raising rates to expand access to crisis and emergency beds, and we are currently at 38 crisis beds available to VIA members. I think that actually may be 40 now, but we've been actively working on 20 additional beds and looking to get approval from DHSR on those. Okay, again, seeing an increased need, especially in services such as therapeutic foster care. One thing we have done to help promote this is raised our rates for therapeutic foster care from $97.22 to $175 per day, and then also for emergency respite to $360 per day. So we're really looking to strengthen and improve our therapeutic foster care services and really look to retain quality providers and families that are really interested in the work. Let's see, and then also to improve coordination of services and to support these therapeutic foster care families. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay, just wanted to give you a real quick highlight on some of county-specific data. So this is for Alexander County, and this is members that are served by their age and disability breakdown, and this is January through March of this year. So you can take a look at the numbers there that we've got. Okay, we can go to the next slide. All right. This is a breakdown of locations where Medicaid members receive their services. As you can see, Alexander County, most people receive their services in county, which is always good to see. And then, of course, there's some contiguous and surrounding county services as well. Okay, next slide. And then similarly for non-Medicaid state-funded services, also the majority of members are receiving their services within county. And then here's some numbers of members that are active in care management. This is a little bit out of date. It's as of May of this year, but just kind of gives you an idea of the number of members that have been receiving care management in Alexander County. Okay. I know that was a lot of information to throw at you, and I know it may take some time to digest. And if you have questions after this, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Or if you've got questions now, I'm happy to do my best to answer them.
Okay, you mentioned foster therapeutic care and for children, mental and things. Is there a location, like if needed, for Alexander County, that y'all have a location somewhere that those could go to, or is that something that you would do through Alexander County?
For the therapeutic foster care services? So currently, there are no therapeutic foster care homes physically located in Alexander County. We are working actively to change that. We do have a provider that is interested in opening that service here in the county, and they are very active with us in recruiting and trying to get that service up and running. We've been in talks with Director Mitchell about this as well. He's on board and is really wanting to get that service up and going in the county, and we're looking to support that as soon as possible.
I guess we're, along with other counties, looking for some help with that, so, but appreciate the information tonight, appreciate what you guys are doing. If you
Thank
have
you.
any questions?
I have a question on the beds and the expansion of the beds.
Sure.
Where are those located?
Different areas. It's kind of all over the board. Some of them are in, let's see, we've got the two that I mentioned that I think we're getting on board really soon, that will be opening soon. Two of those are in Wilkes County, two of those homes.
In what type of facility?
A respite facility. And that would be for children in need of that kind of care. But then emergency beds, those are just kind of scattered all over the state. We've just got them in different areas for different needs, but we're trying to increase that number across the board so that, there doesn't have to be so much travel for an emergency bed, so that we've got them more distributed throughout the catchment, throughout the state.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Zach, for coming out
Absolutely.
tonight.
Thank y'all.
what y'all
Appreciate
do.
it. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 4, Alexander County Broadband Expansion Project. I recognize Dave McCracken, Western Regional Manager for Open Broadband. Thanks, sir.
Got several things to discuss. We are Stony Point area, that's part of our plan. We are in planning stages right now. We're hopefully within just the next couple of weeks, we'll be establishing equipment at the Stony Point Tower. We had a little bit of change of equipment. We went to a better high line of equipment to bring a little bit better quality service to that area. And we're also reaching out, putting in a link that we're going to reach out to the northeast side of the county and start branching out in that area with a few hubs, ladder milk trailer park for starters. One of the things I wasn't expecting though, which I do got on here for the meeting, is to address what Randy is talking about is Moore Mountain. We've had to put Moore Mountain on hold because the tower is declared unsafe. We made several attempts to climb it. I think back in February, we climbed, cables broke. We went back in April, May, I think, replaced cables, and now the base is breaking loose. So we just pretty much declared the tower unsafe. We've offered the landowners to build another tower. So far, they're being uncooperative about putting anything else on top of their property. I aggravate her weekly, and I'm hoping that maybe one day that she'll negotiate with us, but so far, right now at the moment, she is not cooperating with us. So I'm surveying other areas, which is kind of hard because of power issue and just getting a tower up to the top of a mountain with no access. So we're working diligently toward that and trying to get that in that area. I am looking at another area, Poors Knob, which is not in the county, but it is on the county line. Talking with a company called Viper that has a tower up there that will reach the Mount Olive Church Road area. So we're hoping that direction we can expand plus a little bit further into Vashti area, which is more what we was looking for. Ellendale Tower, we'll be establishing some Nokia equipment on that as well. We're probably looking about a month and a half down the road, and that is for non-line of sight customers, which is being an issue in this county for quite a while because of trees and stuff like that. So we're hoping this equipment will get us over that leg so we can have some line of sight customers, non-line of sight customers. And we're also putting a link there to well to reach the Brushy Mountain Park area. And we're in negotiations with a homeowner there on top of a mountain that we've got full agreements with her, and so we're hoping to broadcast toward the Lambert Fork Road area through that whole community in that area, Dover Church. And we done some updates to, we call it Round Top, Daniels Ridge. So we got updated the equipment there, and we've also updated the equipment at Minnie's Mountain. We took some equipment off and put some lighter equipment up, and doing some discussion with some other people, but we're hoping to open up a wireless gigabit system. So we'll be offering internet all the way up to a gigabyte, mainly into the town area for right now. Wirelessly with no fiber, no nothing of the sort. So far, we've hit our goal of over 300 customers for this month, and we are hoping to be around 350 to 375 in the next couple of months.
What percentage would you say of the county is up?
I'd say right now, we're probably around 40%, maybe close to 50% coverage. Probably in the past month, I've been doing, just pretty much dedicated myself to doing surveys for towers. And we've been in negotiation with several different people. Asbury Mountain, I think y'all been familiar with before we mentioned it. We're still working with the owners of it, but I'm also working with some owners beside that property as well as a backup plan. As far as open broadband, we are willing to put up towers. It's just a matter of getting the people to agree and getting power there to it. So it's just it's a difficult task as far as getting a tower established. It's not an easy thing. But we're holding strong, doing our best, and just moving forward and pushing what we can. And I grew up in this area, so I'm pretty familiar with Alexander County. And so I'm working diligently toward trying to get more coverage, and we're hoping by this time next year, we're hoping for 80% coverage of the whole entire county.
Okay. So if somebody has land on top of a mountain somewhere, they should give you a call?
If anybody's got any suggestions, it just, like I said, we're more than willing to put a tower up. If we can just
If the
get,
site's a good site.
the site's a good site, and if we can get power there, I've been working with gentleman for Duke Power. He's an engineer, so he's willing to work with us on getting power to certain locations. So the problem, especially with Moore Mountain, is Katrina, she owns probably about 75% of Moore Mountain. So we just, like I said, I visit her weekly, pretty much annoy her if I can. And I'm hoping that she will agree with us, but you know, at this time, we are looking at other options because we're just not having no luck. We have a contract with her to use the existing tower that's there, but the tower is unsafe. I mean, we literally had just had, our equipment is on that tower right now. It's ready to be turned on. But it's unsafe to get a man up there to even take our equipment back down right now.
Okay, all right. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I do. Mr. McCracken, I've received numerous calls from both folks that would have benefit off of the Thomas Street or Lane Tower and also the Moore Mountain Tower. It seems like the phone calls I get, they all have the same baseline to them, that they've spoken to you or someone else, and they've been promised things that has not transpired for whatever the reason. Being told that, hey, you'll have internet in 10 days or whatever, and then nothing, and then cannot get anyone else back on the phone at a later date, repeatedly. I even have one report of where it was said to me that you yourself had told someone that you had spent $10,000 just for their personal internet to go to their own house, which I doubt very seriously that would be the case, and I would hope not. So I'm kind of very frustrated with the whole process. And in the beginning, if I remember correctly, you had an assessment team to go out to these towers to climb these towers, inspect these towers, to make sure they were solid and working order and would support your equipment. Is that not correct?
Yes, that's correct. One on
So
Thomas.
what could happen to a tower in that short a time? And then why are we talking to our citizens and making those promises and not fulfilling them?
As far as Thomas Lane goes, that has just been, we've had one holdup after another. It's been inspected. We do have a permit. And like I said, that's the one that we're hoping within the next few weeks that we are putting climbers on that.
How long have we been looking for climbers for Thomas Street?
I'm not particularly sure. 'Cause
I've heard for months and months.
We've been renting the space on that tower, I think, since October of last year.
Is there a climber shortage, or how many climbers do we have and
It's
how
just
many
not the climbers,
installs?
it's the equipment. Nors, we switched from Airspan to Nokia. The reason why is because of the quality from Airspan compared to Nokia. The Nokia equipment is pretty much 100% reliable. The Airspan was about an 80%. We have Airspan in other counties right now. We're not really happy with it. And so we're working with Nokia right now. And
But here's where I'm coming from then. Our folks in the county, I don't think they care what type of equipment it is, as long as they're getting internet. And if they're told one thing, and then it doesn't happen, and then they cannot reach someone that they spoke to or get a legitimate answer on a realistic time frame, I think that's where we're dropping the ball.
yeah,
So I personally, if someone in your department or you yourself is talking to one of our citizens, I want the truth to be told to that person. I don't care if it's 7 days or you don't know.
oh yeah, I
I
completely
want
understand.
them to know the truth and not be calling me because they can't get in touch with whoever told them what. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
So, I apologize, but I've just had enough of the folks in our county
We've had just
that
kind
need
of,
broadband, and it's just one issue after another. Because we do have contracts, we got this and that. I'm a business owner. When I say I'm doing something and this is how it's gonna run, that's what's gotta happen, or I'm in trouble. Simple as that.
yes, I
And that's the
agree.
way I look at this. And we have a good representation of that here tonight, just on Mr. Bentley. Mr. Bentley. So, and he's not the only one, and that's why I'm bringing this to attention. There's multiple folks in the county.
I've recently
whatever the
took over
needs.
the management for this county. I think I've only been manager, I think, since April. And so I'm doing everything I can to push forward. I do answer every phone call that I do get. Then far as like the delay is Stony Point, Thomas Lane, we just recently, probably within 3 weeks ago, got finalized the equipment for Nokia. We've had shipping issues. Some of this stuff comes from China. We've had stuff that was sitting in port for 6 months, on hold, could not grab it. Nothing, stuff that's beyond our means to do.
So how can you tell someone they're gonna have internet in 10 days if you don't even have your equipment somewhere? How does that get said that
Me
way?
personally, I've not told my, made no promise to nobody that they're gonna have internet in 10 days.
Okay.
If somebody else in their company, then that's a possibility, but it might be no longer while they're management. But like I said, everything that we do right now that we're moving forward is me doing it, and I move everything forward 100%.
And we wouldn't tell one of our citizens that, if they're calling and ask, that you just put up $10,000 worth of equipment
I
just
know
to
the
get it to
citizen
their
that you're
internet?
talking about, and yes, we are gonna spend close to $10,000 putting,
For just that one
it
side,
wa-
or is
it-
that for the
It was
whole
not
area?
just to their house. This was gonna turn their house into a hub, kinda reminds you of Daniels Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
They have sort of the same setup. So between the equipment of get broadcasting from Ellendale Tower, I think it's like a 7-mile link. I mean, just the two pieces alone was $2,500. And so what we're spending to put on top of their house, to broadcast internet throughout the community, that's a large amount of money.
I just think we could tidy up, possibly be a little bit more professional in speaking to our folks in this county, and don't make open-ended promises to anyone, please.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How far, one tower, about how far does it go as far as signal?
Average of 5 to 6 miles.
Square
Uh,
miles? or-
Sometimes we
around.
get surprised. I actually got a hub that we just established 2 weeks ago, Ellendale Tower, that's 10 miles away. I mean, it doesn't hold a lot of houses, but it was just, it was catching a dark area, off of Pleasant Hill Drive. And, that's where we linked from there to Ellendale Tower.
Okay, so
which
a
was-
hub can pick up where maybe something else
Yes.
wouldn't go. and work.
Yes, in other words, when we try to get into communities, we'll establish a hub. I got one on Blair Road right now. I think we just put one, a third one on, Rocky Springs Road. I think it's been there like 2 weeks ago. So, said and done, probably if I had to guess, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, I probably put about 10 hubs up in just the past 2.5, 3 months. So, I mean, I'm establishing hubs as much as I can possible, you know, it's just getting a matter of people to agree to it, you know, people want to get paid if we put a piece of equipment up. We actually had a customer that was wanting us to pay them because they was giving their brother internet off of their house. So, I mean, we have public issues as far as getting that going, but, you know, I mean, I work through them diligently, and we try to be as kind as possible and try to be as truthful as possible.
Okay.
You know, but sometimes there's things that goes beyond our means that, you know, just like Moore Mountain, you know, we got a contract with her from a long time ago. And it's a simple conversation, far as I could see, if she would just agree. I mean, if she would give me the word, yes, you can put another tower up there, there'll be something up there next week and start installing a tower. I looked at other areas that was on her property that would be less inconvenient for her, and talked to Duke Power about it and had no issues. But like I said, when I go see her at her business, you know, she'll tell me she don't have time to talk and shuts the door in my face. So, I mean, I don't know why. Like I said, I'm just now taking this area over. But, I mean, I'm working patiently with her, but, you know, like I said, I'm coming up with alternative plans, you know, so. Pores Knob, I'm in Wilkes County, so I'm messing with Wilkes Telecommunication. So I more or less gotta have their permission just to broadcast back in Alexander County. So, I mean, it's work in progress, but I wished I could say it was just simple, snap of a finger and put it up, but it's more the people and the equipment availability. Technologies has changed. They just opened up the 6 gigahertz frequency, the FCC did just 2 weeks ago, and nobody has the equipment to even get it out there right now. So, I mean, we're working with that. We're working with new equipment called Tarana that can go 7 or 8 miles, non-line of sight, that can deliver up to 200 to 400 megabytes. You know, we're in the process, we're testing that in South Carolina and started that last week. It's a little bit more expensive equipment, but it's a better quality system. You know, between that and we probably had about 15 lightning strikes in the past 2 months. That's just, you know, we're working diligently toward it, you know. Leanie's Mountain personally has been hit twice. You know, we just replaced all the equipment up there probably about 2 months ago. I replaced the switch there probably 4 times. So, I mean, it's work in progress, but we do work forward and work hard at it.
Okay, well, keep moving forward. We'd like to get the best equipment we can, and I know it's been going on for some time. We've been talking about broadband, but I know it is a work in progress, so. But
It is a work in progress, but we've been working toward the best equipment for starters. We don't want to install something that's just going to break down 3 weeks later. So, I mean, we're working, we studying, right now, the owner of the company right now is at a WISP exhibition where it's discussing new technologies and what's available, what is the best use for the public. So, I mean, we work diligently toward, but we want to bring, at the same time, we want to bring the best service that we can get. We just don't want to introduce somebody to some crappy material that's going to do barely 25 megabytes. So, I mean, we want to make sure everything is proper. As one, like I said, we had Airspan originally. If we went with that equipment, it would probably, Stony Point Tower would be up right now. But there's a reliability of that equipment that we question. And now, since we're using it in other towns, we really questioning it. And so we've been working close with Nokia, and we done field tested some of this, and it's some really nice quality equipment that has good service, that don't break down.
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming out tonight, and now we can put a face with a name, so
You're
glad
welcome.
you're originally from Alexander County, just, work to do the best you can for us, and
Yeah, like I said,
keep moving.
I work every day as much as I can, and I try not to make promises I can't keep, but sometimes other people do break my promise. So, I mean, we will work diligently to get everything going. You know, like I said, Moore Mountain, I think about it every day. It's not one day, it's not forgotten about. And it's in our weekly meeting. Every week we discuss that mountain. So we'll get it one way or the other.
All right, thanks for coming out tonight, appreciate the
Anybody else have any
information.
more questions? Thank you.
Moving on to our next item, number 5, approved schedule of values for 2023 county reappraisal. I recognize Jimmy Tanner with Tanner Valuation, and Doug Fox, Tax Administrator. Sorry about that.
You're fine. Thank you, gentlemen, for having us again tonight. As you recall, we were at your August 1st meeting when we presented the proposed schedule of values for the upcoming 2023 reappraisal. At that time, we requested that you schedule a public hearing, and that was held at your last meeting, September the 19th. And we're here tonight to finalize the process and ask that you consider voting to approve the schedule of values. And we're here to answer any final questions that you may have, if we can.
Any questions? Okay, everybody's ready.
And the important thing is, are they ready?
Yeah,
That's the important thing.
yeah.
And we're still sitting on the same percentage?
Well, we're continuing to look at this, and we're watching this market just like everybody else is. We'll work up until December 31st at looking at sales and checking the market and trying to hit it as close as we can. We know this, things are just crazy right now, the way they're going up, and the data we're seeing right now, we haven't seen much of a change. You know, you hear a lot on the news about change, and we're just continually watching it and trying to stay on top of it.
It appears about the only change is that interest rates are charged when you go for the mortgage,
That's right,
based on what I've been seeing.
Yeah, everything's costing more.
it is.
Yeah.
Even CBS News, they told last month in September, just a single person spent $482 more this September than last September. So that tells you kind of where things are, so. Okay, enough of that. Everyone, I guess we'll make a motion. I make a motion to approve. Have a second.
Second.
So,
Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. You guys keep working.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, NC Foothills Experience Web App, and recognize Allison Adams with COG, Director of Community and Regional Planning. Thank you.
I'm short. I have to readjust. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good to be here this evening. What I'll do first of all is, I'm sorry, you see the bubbles on the screen. What I'll do first of all is go over the project, and then I will walk you through the actual web app. The good thing is those that have internet will be able to use it. Sorry, bad joke, I know. Let me get logged on here, and then we will be rocking and rolling. So this application was over 2 years ago. It's part of an EDA CARES Act grant. So as part of our SEDS process, and it'll lag just a little bit just because I'm on Wi-Fi. Part of our SEDS process, it was to identify quality of life in the region and how to really market that. And with that, what we decided was, with this CARES Act money, that we would create a tool for retention and attraction of employees and employers, as well as hopefully retaining our existing citizens, of course, students and families, et cetera. And so what you see is the NC Foothills. And this video typically plays through, it's a 4K video. We did a lot of drone work with this project. We did over 800 drone flights to go with this project. I'm sorry it's lagging. What I will tell you is that as part of this, there was a 4-person team. Avery Ritchie, Alexander County native, she did a lot of the photography with it. And a lot of the write-ups. This is a 508 compliant tool, which means disabilities are able to use it. It will read back to the user. Duncan Kavanaugh, he is our drone pilot. He's the one that did all of our drone work for this, videography, renderings, etc. Todd Stroop, who's no longer with the COG, and I know, sell out, traitor. I'm just kidding. I hated to lose him, but I don't blame him. He did go, and somebody stole him away to start up their GIS shop. He is the one that created this web application and this tool. And he's the one that really took what Duncan did and what Avery did, and he smushed it all together. And I'm just, unfortunately, the gift of gab that gets to tell you all about it. So I'm the 4th person. So what we did is, when we started thinking about retaining our employees and our workforce, our businesses, etc., is it's not about always the salary. It's not always about the benefits. I mean, it's also the quality of life. Where you live, what are you going to do? Do you hear kids say, "I am so bored, there is nothing to do here"? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put things out there to say, look, this region is very, very vibrant, and there's lots to do here. And so what I'd like to do first is walk you through the tool. So when you hit the web page, it is expncfoothills.com. So EXP is experience. The reason why we called it Experience NC Foothills is because we didn't want to call it the Unifor. We didn't want to call it the Hickory Metro. We didn't want to call it the Catawba Valley. We wanted something that really suited our 4-county region, which is Caldwell, Catawba, Alexander, and Burke. And so we thought, well, NC Foothills, that works. So what I'd like to do is walk you through this. When this thing pops up, there is a really nice drone video that comes up. It flows nicely. So when you get a chance, take a look at it. What you do is you'll scroll down. So this is our logo that we came up with. Miss Sarah Wirt designed this logo. We felt like it was a really good representation of the region. It describes all 4 counties, and it uses a lot of the similar color palette. As far as quality of life, we really wanted to focus on fun and culture, recruiting and retaining those employees, social interactions and recreation, as well as, where can you go to to recreate and to have a nice dinner and, you know, what can you do? So we focused on 4 main areas. And what you need to think about too is we've heard time and time again with the data, we're losing our 18 to 45-year-old population. There, you know, that population is dwindling. And so how do we retain those folks? How do we bring them back and attract them here? And so we focused on 4 main things. One is outdoor adventures, which is our recreation. It is focused on our hiking, our biking, our trails, our boat access, our greenways. And then the next thing we focused on was fun places. So everybody likes a cultural experience. You know, we're getting ready to have the Apple Festival. And so there's museums and there's libraries, things like that, downtown areas. The other big thing that we really thought about during this time, because this was during COVID, was where are we going to get our food from? It was so important to get fresh food because you didn't want to walk in the grocery store and go, oh my gosh, I wonder who's touched that. Did they have COVID? I don't, you know, what they breathed on it. I don't want to touch it. So we really focused on farm fresh. And so that means our farmers markets, our U-Pick farms where you can make those family memories, those roadside stands, those butchers. And so that was a huge thing that also attracts all populations, right? And then lastly, we focused on cool spaces. And so this is more along the lines of what we're seeing as trendy things that attract that age range. And it's your breweries, your wineries, distilleries, your coffee shops, bike shops, skateboard shops, outfitters. And so with that, those 4 main areas are what we really just honed in on, and I will walk through each one of those here in just a second. So this video right here, this is another drone video, has really nice music to it. Check it out when you get a chance. Make sure you make the screen big. It's a 4K video. It's the best technology you can get as far as movie. The other thing that we wanted to really focus on is our proximity, because proximity is everything. You want quality of life, but you also want to know, okay, well, if I want to take a trip, if I have to do, you know, business, I have to leave. Well, how close am I to Charlotte, Asheville, Greensboro? How can I get out of here on a plane? And so proximity is everything. So we showed that as far as our region and location there. We also wanted to really focus on who our stakeholders and our partners were throughout this process. We had over 80. I mean, with all the municipalities, the counties, the EDCs, the chambers, and I know I'm missing some. We had private businesses, we had breweries, we had, I mean, you name it. We probably had over 100, to be honest with you. So with that, so that's the very front page, what you see when you're using the tool. So what I'd like to do is this. I'd like to go on each one of these tabs. So cool spaces. So let's just go to Taylorsville and say, you know what? I want to have a beer. So I'm going to go to Brushy Mountain Brews. So when you click on an icon, what it does is it gives you a description. It gives you more information. It gives you driving directions. Let's say that I was sitting in Hickory and I'm like, going to head up this direction, but I don't know how to get there. I literally can click there. It'll take my point and it'll give me directions right off the bat. There's also some nice photography that goes along with this. And then we always give credit where credit's due as far as photographs, etc. More information, it will take you to their actual website. And so this is the case for each one of the icons that you see. There will be always more information to attract the user to go to the actual location. And our ask is this. Our ask is that all of our stakeholders, all the folks that we have identified on here, for them to put that logo and that link on their website. And it's a cyclical marketing tool. So when you go to Brushy Mountain Brews, if you didn't know about NC Foothills, which they haven't put the logo on there yet, we haven't gotten that far. We're working on it. So you could actually go on their website, find the logo, and hopefully click on it, and it would take the user to the tool, and so you would be right back here. Well, you know, okay, I live in Alexander County, so I want to, you know, check out something in Morganton I didn't know about. So there's a lot of learning opportunity here. The other thing is, so if you go across the top, the four major categories, those are what's across each of the tabs on the top. So the cool thing is you can actually plan your day itinerary. So if I'm a visitor and I'm coming in and you're recruiting me for a job, and I want to know what there is to do, I can say, okay, we've already grabbed a beer, we're good there. So I want to check out what agriculture, what are we going to do? I want to go to the Farmer's Daughter. I want to get some fresh food. I want to check out, there's U-Pick, whatever going on, and I can go there and check that out. And what's the cool thing about it is see if I zoom in here, what happens with the map. So fun places. So then I hit fun places. It's the map stays where you were with the last tab, so that you can create that itinerary as you go, and you can open each of the tabs on here. So, for instance, here's downtown Taylorsville. I'm gonna go widescreen. I'm gonna show you this video. Hopefully, there we go. It'll clear up. There we go. And this is just one of bukus of drone videos that we've rendered for this project. And a lot of them are about a 30-second somewhere clip, 30 to 45-second clip, just to show you a glimpse of what you would be witnessing if you were to go there. So then if you go down, like I said, there's always more information, driving directions, etc. So let's go to recreation, outdoor recreation. So check this out. This is pretty cool. So this is Rocky Face, which I know y'all know about, right? You should know. Don't know anything about it. So this is, come on. We got some really good shots here, and we've used a lot of this in our marketing tool for the app or for the webpage itself. That's a really cool shot. I don't want to fall from there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It gives you a whole new perspective.
That really does.
Pretty high.
Yeah, it does. And you don't realize how much of a vista is up there, And so I will, so that's the tool in a nutshell. What I will say is that we've gotten a lot of great feedback, and we are open to feedback, even if it's not so great, because we want to make it better. This is a tool that is for you to use. It is free. It's great because you can use it to recruit and retain. And also, our next phases of this project, our hope with this is, and we're starting to work on this, is, remember me saying, as a kid, you say, oh, there's nothing to do here. I'm so bored, So our hope is to get it into the schools, is to actually use it. We're doing a pilot project with a grant with Caldwell County Schools. We're hoping that it will be a part of their curriculum and used to educate those kids and those parents that there is a lot to do here. And hopefully that helps retain that population that we're losing. The other thing that we would really like to do is to get it in the hands of HR folks. Let those companies use it. Let them send it out in their recruiting materials. It tells them, hey, there's lots to do here. Come here, visit here, live here. And then the third thing is getting it into the realtors' hands. I grew up in Catawba County. Don't hold that against me. But, there's things in this region, in this 4-county region, even in Catawba County, that I knew nothing about. And it's just amazing how much I've learned, and I hope that this is a tool that'll help educate not only our kids, but our citizens and all those new folks that will be coming here either to visit or to live here. So, you have any questions?
No, I just think it's fantastic. That's the second time I've seen it, so, I
Thanks.
think you guys did an outstanding job and had cooperation from all 4 of the counties and the municipalities, and I think it's a tremendous tool, and I appreciate what you all did putting that together.
Thank you. It was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work.
It took a while.
It took a while. But you know what? I really see this, our future phases that I was talking about, I really see that going into different directions and people really running with that. That's why I get so excited about this tool. I also love the logo. I think
As new things open up, are you going to be able to add them to this easily?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
because I know we've got a couple, 2 or 3 things that's getting ready to happen. I mean, there's a restaurant there on the Rank Dam Road. I don't know whether you put that in there yet or not.
Nope. I don't
Okay,
think we did.
That's a very nice place there, and then our golf course over in Bethlehem just opened up the restaurant there. And, then we've got a couple parks that's getting ready to come alive over there in Bethlehem, so,
Because there's, what, Duke? Is Duke doing a project in
Duke
Bethlehem?
Power,
Yeah,
The
Alexander
courthouse
County.
park in there, I didn't notice anything.
it is.
It
That's
is in
what I
there.
was looking for.
Yeah.
If I can. All
It's
these
in there.
little, hold on. There's too much going on.
Yeah,
All right, come on. Maybe it's because I zoomed in too much. Now it's not gonna load. Of course.
Allison, add to that, I think also, the booklet that they were showing us, at the last COG meeting had a picture of, what was it? I think it was the Alexander County Courthouse Park with all the people there. It was a
Yes.
nice shot for Alexander County in the uniform area with everybody there at the COG meeting.
Yes, and I'm trying to, man. Okay, so Alexander County Courthouse with all, like, it's slam packed, y'all, slam packed.
It is.
With an event, the splash pad, everything. And that is our cover of our SEDS document. So our SEDS document is, I always say this wrong, it's our Certified Economic Development Strategies. I think I got the C right. I always say it flip-floppy. But it is our 5-year plan at the COG. It is our focus. For the next 5 years, this is what we do. Taylorsville's Town Square, Alexander County's Square is on the very front cover.
Front page.
It is beautiful.
It's really
And-
Pull
nice.
that off.
Drone,
I said, yeah, but how did we pull off getting on the cover?
cause y'all are important.
connections, we got connections,
Y'all are important.
like that,
You need some love.
yeah.
So, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. I also brought a few things for you guys. We do have swag. I brought some stickers, car stickers, and also some decals. You can put them on your Yeti cups too. And then I also brought some coasters, so I can get you pint glass koozies later. I forgot those, I'm sorry. But I'll be happy to leave those before I go, and I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, that's
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks a lot.
We're glad you came to visit the big
Looks-
metropolis of Alexander County.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Moving on to our next item, number 7, budget ordinance amendments, and recognize Mr. Rick French, County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 2 budget amendments. Number 14, to increase the Health Department budget for American Rescue Plan Act grant funds passed through the Cabarrus Health Alliance to Alexander County Health Department for the COVID-19 Public Health Workforce Grant. And number 15 is to increase the fire emergency services budget for one estimated additional $15,000 needed for the purchase of a new Chevrolet Tahoe to replace a 1999 Ford F-250, and 2 estimated $20,000 for the purchase and installation of related equipment, accessories, and reflective striping for the Tahoe. And that's all the budget amendments we have for tonight.
Little light there.
That's pretty short.
That's pretty light.
Pretty
See
short.
that? Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve budget items number 14 and 15.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Them, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to our next item, board appointments and reappointments. And also we'll insert the resolution for the review officer for Alexander County, be added to that. And recognize County Manager Rick French once again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Reappoint Lori Street, Larry Yoder for 2 years. Unifor Consortium, reappoint Rick French for 2 years. And also our new planning, director, Brian Burgess. We need to appoint him as watershed, floodplains, and subdivision administrator. And also you have a resolution designated him as review officer.
Okay.
I think you could do that all in one motion if you want to.
Would you like to read the resolution for us, Madam Clerk?
Not really, but I will.
Well, that way everyone will know what we're talking about.
Okay.
All the people in radio land and everything.
It's a resolution requesting the Alexander County Board of Commissioners to appoint a review officer for Alexander County, whereas State Law 1997-309 S. 875 made a number of significant changes in the procedures for recording maps and plats, and whereas the main purpose of the law is to transfer the responsibility for reviewing plats to determine whether they meet recording requirements from the Register of Deeds to the review officer. And whereas General Statute 47-30.2 requires the Board of County Commissioners in each county by resolution to appoint a person to serve as review officer to review each plat before it is recorded and certify that it meets North Carolina statutory requirements for recording. And whereas it is the desire of the Alexander County Board of Commissioners to ensure review of all maps and plats as required by General Statute 47-30.2 before they are presented to the Register of Deeds for recording. Now therefore be it resolved that the Alexander County Board of Commissioners does hereby appoint Brian Burgess to perform all responsibilities as required for the review officer under the appropriate North Carolina General Statute for Alexander County Planning Area.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You read that much better than I could have. I'd entertain a motion to approve the board appointments and reappointments for the sister cities, Unifor Home Consortium, and also for the resolution requesting the review officer and for the watershed that county manager.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve.
Okay, have a motion to have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you, gentlemen. Carries unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to our next item, recognize the county manager for county manager report. Mr. French.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things to mention. One is, please be checking your calendars for early 2023. We probably need to schedule a couple additional meetings, additional in January and February, to schedule times to start interviewing architects for the new courthouse project. Second thing I want to mention, in your packet is a copy of an email from Doug Chapman with McGill outlining the Bowman Court sewer project schedule. The schedule shows awarding the bids for the sewer project in January 2023 and construction complete in December of 2023. Some important dates to mention tonight. The October 4th, the National Night Out, 5:30 to 8:30 at Courthouse Park. The event is free to the public, and it's sponsored by the Sheriff's Office and Crime Stoppers. October the 8th, there's a Courthouse Park concert featuring a landslide. It's from 7 to 9. Also, the Stony Point Fire Department, Volunteer Fire Department, is doing their 15th annual cruise-in, and at Station 1 from 3 to 6. On the 15th of October is the 32nd annual Taylorsville Apple Festival. On October 20th is also the book sale with the Friends of the Library. It's actually October the 20th, and they're doing one each day, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, from 9 to 6. November 5th is the 6th annual Run for the Dogs Trail Race at Rocky Face Park. November 11th is the Veterans Day Parade, and December 3rd is the Alexander County Christmas Parade. I'm glad to answer any questions. We got a lot of things going
A
on.
lot of stuff there, so, a lot of things for people to do, looks like, so
That's right.
stay busy. I guess we can set our additional meeting date at our next meeting.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, thank you, Mr. French, for that information. Everyone keep those lists and schedules for things happening in the county. Moving on to our next item, need approval of the consent agenda. Everyone's had it in their packet, ample time to look at it. Do I have a
Make a
motion?
motion to approve the consent agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Have a motion to have a second? Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Jim. At this time, we will adjourn to go into closed session for contractual and personnel, and make a motion to go into closed session. I make that as a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. And we're now in closed session. We will re-adjourn only for adjournment. Thank you.